Okay, so you're trying to learn English, right? And you go to YouTube and oh my gosh, it is like, bam, a million channels.
Yeah.
All saying they're the best one for you. And
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even choose?
Yeah.
Right. It is so overwhelming.
Right. You can just end up like endlessly scrolling and you actually don't end up learning anything.
Exactly. You get totally lost.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we are diving into today.
That's right.
Figuring out how to actually pick a YouTube channel that will actually help you learn English.
Yeah. And the advice we've looked at really boils down to like two main things.
Okay.
It's like one, figuring out what you specifically need.
Okay.
And then also finding like a style of learning that you actually enjoy so you'll keep coming back.
Yeah, because that's a big thing too, right?
Yeah,
You might find a channel with great information,
totally.
but if it's like boring,
Yeah,
you're not going to keep watching it,
exactly. Consistency is key.
for sure. So first things first,
Yeah,
we need to ask ourselves, like, what do I actually struggle with in English?
exactly. Because like what works for one person might not work for another at all.
Totally. Like if grammar is like my biggest nightmare, then I need a channel that like really breaks down those rules.
Yeah, like really clear explanations.
Yes. And then like for me, I really want to sound more like a native speaker.
Sure, so then you'd want something more focused on like pronunciation and listening and maybe even like mimicking.
Exactly. And the advice we looked at had some really good examples for this.
Oh, yeah.
So for pronunciation, there's Rachel's English. She's really good at explaining like where your tongue should be and how to move your mouth and all that.
Interesting.
Then for just like practical, day-to-day English, there's BBC Learning English.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, they have tons of great stuff. And what I thought was really cool was how the advice then connected those goals to different learning techniques.
Yeah, like what do you mean?
So if your goal is like fluency in speaking, then they suggest using a technique called shadowing, which is basically just repeating what you hear.
Oh, yeah, shadow.
And there are specific channels that focus on this, like English Addict with Mr. Steve and Speak English with Vanessa.
Cool.
But just finding great content isn't enough, is it?
No, definitely not.
Like we all start things with like so much energy and
And then PF.
yeah, exactly. Like where did all that motivation go?
And the advice really emphasizes that like enjoyment is like the key to staying consistent.
Totally. If you actually like what you're watching, you're way more likely to keep coming back.
For sure. So this is where it's important to try out different styles of content.
Exactly. Like maybe you love learning with TV series.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
There's a channel called Learn English with TV series.
Oh, cool.
But then maybe you prefer something more serious and structured.
Like BBC Learning English Again or Engvid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a good tip is to start with shorter videos so it doesn't feel like a huge commitment.
Right, and look for channels that have subtitles and stuff like that.
Ah, so those are helpful. And then once you found some channels you enjoy, it's time for the next big step.
Active learning.
Yes. Because like you said before, just watching isn't enough.
Yeah, it's like watching someone work out at the gym.
Huh. Yeah,
You're not going to get in shape just by watching them.
exactly. You have to actually do the work.
Right, you have to actually use the English you're learning.
So speak it, even if you're just talking to yourself.
Exactly, and like try writing some sentences using new vocabulary.
Yeah. And find a language partner to practice with if you can.
Yes, because that's how you really make it stick.
Absolutely. So the advice actually gives this really simple 4-step strategy.
Oh, cool, a 4-step plan.
Yeah, it's like super straightforward, but I think it could be really effective.
I like it. Okay, so walk me through it.
All right, so step 1,
Hit me.
choose one area of English you want to work on right now.
Okay, just one.
Yeah, and then choose one YouTube channel that focuses on that area.
Okay, got it.
Step 2,
Yeah,
make it a daily habit to watch at least one video from that channel.
even if it's a short one.
Exactly, because consistency is more important than like doing a marathon session every once in a while.
Totally small steps add up over time.
For sure. All right, step 3,
Lay it out me.
actively practice what you learned from each video.
Okay, so like repeating phrases, writing summaries.
Yeah, or like trying to use the new grammar in conversation.
That's smart. It really makes you think about it.
Exactly. And then the final step, step 4, is to stick with this for at least a month.
Okay, at least a month.
You have to really give it a chance to work.
Makes sense. And like you said before, this should all be enjoyable.
Yeah, don't stress yourself out about it.
If you're dreading it, maybe it's time to try a different channel or a different approach.
For sure. So to sum up, the main message is be focused, be consistent, and be active.
Don't get lost in that sea of YouTube channels.
Right. Take a minute right now to think about what your biggest goal is for learning English.
And here's a final thought.
Okay.
Think of focusing on just one channel, like building a really strong foundation brick by brick.
Okay, I like that.
Instead of like scattering seeds and hoping something grows.
It's a much more focused approach.
Exactly. So choose that one channel, watch one video a day, practice what you learn, and stick with it for a month.
I think that's great advice.
I think so too. You might really surprise yourself with how much progress you make.
For sure.
Awesome.
Great deep dive today. I feel like I learned a lot.
Me too.
And I hope our listeners did as well.
I hope so too.
All right, until next time.
See you then.
Bye.